Welcome back, guys. It's studio time. I am so excited to show you what we've been working so hard on for quite a while. I finally have my studio set up to where it will be functional and hopefully everything's in the place that it needs to be, but I assume that over the next couple months, once I'm actually in here using things, that things will start to move around just a little bit as I find out what is going to be easiest to do and most functional for what I have. So I'm just gonna take you guys around the room and show you what I have going on and share with you how I've chosen to try to store my things and organize a little bit. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so behind me, you can see that I have this painting and stuff going on. This was actually my daughter's room prior to this, and I did this big like abstract wall thing for her to go above her bed, and it was super cute, but she needed a different space. We've gotten a little bit of a bigger room for her for all of her toys and all of her equipment and everything that she needs. So I took over her room and I decided to just keep this for now because I don't dislike it, but this used to be pink. So I went ahead and painted over this to kind of make it match the rest of my stuff and make it a little more me. But I did keep everything else, and I repainted a couple of the arrows because they were different colors. So I will give you guys a good view of this so that you can see the whole wall and see what I'm talking about. But I do love it. I just don't know if this is what it's going to always look like. I have a few ideas of what I might possibly do in the future, but for now, I do love it and we're gonna keep it and just go from there. So what you're sitting on right now is my desk, which I got this in for Christmas in December, and I'm pretty rough on my equipment, guys. So I didn't put crafting paper down or cover it in any way to protect it from all of the paint and epoxy and everything else that I've been using on this, so it's pretty beat up. I do plan on possibly putting some white contact paper down over top of it to give it a fresh, clean look, and then actually putting crafting paper or something else down that I will work on so that I don't stain it up all over again and give it a little bit, keep it a little cleaner, I guess is the words. But I did get to organize it, and so I try to keep this with the stuff that I use all the time. So you can see here that I have my paints, so my stains that I use all the time, my chalk paints that I use all the time, my white and my black acrylic paint all over here, along with all of my top coats and clear coats that I use all on this one side. And then here in the middle, I have my drawer, which just has like the standard things like pens, pencils, markers, scissors, that kind of thing. And then along with other little tools that I use all the time. Like I'm always grabbing for safety pins. I always have, you know, like paint can openers and that kind of stuff right there on hand because I do use it often, as well as like sanding pads, nail files, that kind of thing. So I just have all of that in here for easy, quick grab. And then on the other side, I have a kind of a mismatch of things. Some of my resin related things, my plastic gloves, which I use all the time for when I'm doing resin projects, when I'm staining, or for whatever else I might be getting into. And then in my drawer, I have like my hot glue guns, my staining rags, old t-shirts for that, as well as some containers for either mixing epoxy or paint or whatever I might need them for. So that's what I have in my desk, and then there are also cubbies kind of hidden in the front, and that's where I keep my bottles of resin for there's the epoxy and the hardener, and I just have that to where it's out of the way, as well as my huge jugs of Elmer's glue, which I use as my medium to mix my acrylic paints for my fluid art. And then on the other side, I have all of these sections, which this is more meant for like a scrapbooking desk for like cardstock and that kind of stuff. But I am using this to hold all of my silicone molds, my alcohol inks, my mica powders, my glitter. Guys, I have so much glitter. So So I just have all of that in here. I have a little container to hold all of my glitters and just make an easy grab for whenever I'm ready and need those. But yeah, pretty much anything for my resin related belongings that would fit in here, that's what I have here. I also have all my packing envelopes and stuff that are in here, along with some of my cardstock and Cricut specific materials along this side. So I was able to organize my desk and so excited to have everything have a place, because I've been doing so much in this area and trying to make so much fit. It was very overwhelming and hard for me to access all of my different areas and the things that I need, because it was all so overwhelming and trying to fit it all into this one small space when I have probably 3 rooms worth of stuff, if we're being honest. So I'm very excited to finally have my own space. I am just thrilled and I'm very happy to get to share it with you guys. So over here on the other wall, I have my Cricut mats hanging up, as well as my silicone mold that is too big to fit in any shelf or drawer or anywhere. It's kind of an awkward because it's so big. So I had the suggestion sent to me to hang it up, which I thought was perfect since how I already had my Cricut mats hanging up in this corner. I'm using the top of the filing cabinet as another storage place for some of my projects that are already completed, because I don't currently have enough room for them. But then the filing cabinet is actually more of like for personal use, not related to any of my crafting and stuff. It's more just to keep just a bunch of my like paperwork and stuff that I'm not ready to let go of for different reasons. And then in the bottom drawer, I am using that currently as a junk drawer, because I have the silicone mats for my resin work and the mesh covers that I have for them, and then some boxes and carrying bags for my different equipment that doesn't really have a place, and it's like awkward. They're long and skinny, but they won't fit in any drawers or anything. So I have them stuffed down there for now, and I'm sure they'll find a place. But let's move on to my new shelving units. I went to IKEA. Shout out to my best friend Lisa and her sister Leanne for going on this adventure with me to walk the whole entire store and take pictures of several different shelving units and deal with me being indecisive on what I want, going through the warehouse with me, finding out that multiple choices were unavailable or out of stock, and landing on these, which ended up being amazing. I love these shelving units. I knew I wanted something a little deeper that would hold a little more nice and tall so I can fit plenty of things on the shelves. They are perfect. So we'll go ahead and start at the top. At the top, I have these storage bins. I just got them from Target to hold all of my florals. I did have them all in a giant basket, but they were overflowing, so I also had bags full. So I went ahead and got these baskets fit perfectly on top of these shelving units that will hold all of them. So on the right side, I have all of my Christmas related or like winter related florals. In the middle, I have lots of like the spriggy, I don't know, type of flowers or like sticks and that kind of thing. And then on the other side, I have like roses and spring and summer related flowers. That way it's a little bit organized, which is great. That way I can know what my project's gonna be, just grab that one thing and not have to sort through all of it. I'm very, very excited to have that, because before getting my florals out was an entire process, and trying to sort through and remember what I had was a little tedious. So going down on my shelving units, the top 2 shelves are for my finished projects that I have not sold yet. I'm just using them to kind of display them and store them. And then on the right side, I have a little basket. This basket is for all of my yarns and ropes and jute wire and that thing kind of thing. And then I have this little carrier that has all of my floral wiring and different pliers and utensils that I use specifically for that. I have another shelf just decorating a piece that I've made. And then I have my Cricut maker hanging out over there. I'm so happy to be able to take it off of my desk, because I was working with it on my desk at all times and working around it to get all of my other projects done, and I just did not have enough room to keep it on there. So now it has its own place. And then in the drawers, I have rolls of vinyl and my transfer tapes and that kind of stuff. I'm hoping to get a better solution for organizing that. But again, over the next couple months, I'm sure I'll be moving things around to make things a little more efficient. In the bottom drawer, I have more just Cricut related stuff so that I can have it all there in one place with easy access and easy to find. Then moving on to the left side, again, I said I have this area for keeping some of my projects that are pre-made. And then on the left side, I have kept that for all of my items that are to be worked on or extra, you know, basically my undone my projects that are not finished or need to be started, or, you know, are just pieces that can be used for another project. So I have, you know, this tray sitting here that I need to finish up. I have these floral hoops, just a bunch of random stuff that needs to be worked on. I have this huge stack of wood rounds, so if anyone's looking for a sign that they need made, reach out to me. I'm happy to do it for you. Anything you want. I am more than happy to do that. And then in my drawers here, it's again overflow of stuff that I have, projects that I need to work on or things that I can use for different projects. And then in the bottom drawer, I have all of my ribbon. I have a lot of ribbon. I have no shame in that. I love ribbon. You never know when you need a cute bow. If you don't know how to make a bow, I have a video for that. And then you too can have a hoard of wired ribbons or, you know, unwired ribbons, whatever. We don't discriminate. We have all the ribbons. All right, so moving on into my closet. This is a bit of a mess, but it's an organized mess. I at least know what's in there. So again, we will work from the top down. And the top, that big old bag that you see is just full of fabrics just that I've collected over the years, because you never know when you need a good piece of fabric. I typically bring that out around Halloween time because I love to make my own costumes. So that's what that's full of. And then you can see all of those wood rounds. Those are more for different projects that I just haven't gotten to yet. You see a random wreath on top of there. That's because I again am trying to store stuff that I've already made and haven't yet sold. So that's sitting up there just hanging out. And then this bag over here, that also has wreaths that are finished that are just being stored. And if you're wondering what that big old ball of burlap is up there, that is from my Halloween costume 2 years ago. I made myself Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. I'll go ahead and plug that picture up here so you can see it, because it's one of my absolute favorite Halloween costumes I've ever done. There's only one that tops that, and that's my daughter's Elton John costume. So in love with that costume. She is the biggest fan of Elton John. Loves his music. It's adorable. So she had to be Elton John. All right, back to this. So these storage bins here, they just have like the corks, or just corks that I have for different projects. I also have 2 bins full of coasters for they're done and completed that I take to craft shows and stuff, so it's just easy to store them in there. And then a couple other projects that are done and ready to move on to a new home. All right, so my solution for my wreaths. I have a lot of pre-made wreaths that I take to me with my craft shows, and I wasn't sure what to do with them, but I have these little S hooks that I got for whenever I go to craft shows. I have I don't know what it's called, but basically this big wood, like slatted piece that I use, lattice maybe, if that's what it's called, I'm not sure. But I use that to hang all of my wreaths on whenever I'm at craft shows. So I have these little hooks to easily hang them up. And I was like, well, I could use that in the closet to hang them on the bar that you would typically hang your hangers on. So I was able to line them all up and hang them up in there perfectly. Almost all of them fit, which was super awesome, and it's organized and it keeps them all out of the way, when before I literally had them just laying around the room, sitting everywhere. I was having to move them out of the way to get to other things. So I'm very happy with this solution. It works perfectly. They're not in my way at all and easily to see, so I know what I have on hand if anybody needs anything. And then down here I have an insane amount of pizza boxes, which seems super weird. Like, I don't eat that much pizza. I would try, but I don't. These are all for my actual work. I'm a neurotherapist. I do directed painting with individuals with brain disorders. So we use pizza boxes to tape our cardstock to, which is what we paint on. And then a lot of the people just frame them because they're just typical 12 by 12 and they look amazing. But for easy transport and drying without having to worry about them being damaged, we fold them up into pizza boxes. So I have a lot of those on hand. I'm not just like hoarding pizza boxes. Fresh pizza boxes too, like they've never been used. There's no weird smelling things happening in this closet. So then I have, again, more stuff, unused wood and things that are just kind of stacked up here so that whenever I'm ready for that next project, I have it easily accessible. I have a couple mirrors here that I'm planning on flipping and giving a new makeover. And then I have my 3-drawer set, which you're probably wondering, why do I have it facing that way? I can't easily get into the drawers, but this is on purpose. That is on wheels, so I can easily wheel it out whenever I need it. But the stuff that is in those drawers, I do not use often. I have in one drawer all of my acrylic paintings that I've done, the smaller ones, they fit perfectly in there. So now whenever I'm going to a craft show, I can just remove the whole drawer and take it with me instead of putting them into separate bins and then carrying it all away. And then the second drawer is the same thing. All of the small easels that I have to display those, but also to do like paint parties, all fit in there. And then like my wreath hanger. So anything revolving to like displaying or hanging, I have in this drawer so that I can also just remove it and load it into my car and take it with me. In the bottom drawer, I have a ton of tulle and deco mesh. This is for, again, different projects, whatever I'm feeling, but most of it is for wreath making. And I don't use that stuff often for my wreath making. So I just have a drawer full of that for whenever I need it. And then a random bag here full of different types of paper for whenever I might be needing paper for paper crafts or whatever else I have going on. So that's the closet. I feel like I've used as much space as I possibly can and tried to organize it well. These other random tubs that you have here are just literally random art supplies and crafts that I don't use much, that I used to use a lot, but I can't quite let go of it yet because you never know when you're gonna need to use something. So that's just what those are, is just full of those random little items that I'm really not sure what I could use them for, but I'm not ready to let go of them because you never know. All right, so now moving on into this corner. This is my mom's old dining room table. So sorry, Mom, if you're watching this, because I don't think she realizes how much I've ruined it with my different projects over the years. I have spilled alcohol on them, like rubbing alcohol on them. It's peeled away, but my plan for this was always to redo it, so I never really worried about covering it up. So it's all stained up and crazy, and one day I'll redo it and put a tablecloth on it and it'll look great. But this is going to be for my painting. So if I'm sitting down to do a paint video or fluid art or anything like that, that's what I'm going to be doing over here. I can pull the table out and walk around it if I'm doing, fluid art to where I need to have easier access to it. But also for if I have clients who come to me, some of them do travel to me, and I used to have to borrow my mom's house because she had a space that I could do that with, but I now have the opportunity to do that on my own, and I'm very, very excited to be able to provide that to the people who need it. But yeah, so I went to, when I was at Target buying the bins for my shelving unit, I went ahead and grabbed these little just wire mesh things that they had in their little dollar section. So they had a round one here, which is perfect for my paintbrushes. I was keeping them in a baggie, like a Ziploc bag, and trying to sort through them constantly to find out what I needed. So I have them sorted here. So I have like my stencil and chalk brushes here together in this one, and then all of my other like soft bristled or in different types in this container. And then I have like straws for if I need to blow out any of my fluid art, but the hairdryer is too much. different spatulas used for spreading paint, along with my popsicle sticks for the same thing where I used to mix my resin and stuff. So it's like the perfect little container to hold all of this and organize it for me and make me not feel as overwhelmed. And then you see this giant bucket of paint. Shout out to Danielle, my boyfriend's sister, for coming over and helping me organize this and talk through what would be the best way to organize this. This is a temporary solution until I can get a little rollaway cart. I planned on getting that when I was at IKEA, but then they didn't have it in stock, so I decided to just wait on that. So for now, I have these two mesh wire trays that I have one with all of my Waverly paints in there, and then the other with all of my like color shift or metallic paints. And then underneath that is a bunch of just random acrylic paints that I have. I was blessed to be given this entire tub of paint by one of my clients that I used to work with. She just had a bunch on hand that she never planned on using, and she was like, "You can have it." And I was like, oh my gosh. So we went through it, got rid of all of the stuff that was bad, that a project that I have been putting off for probably a year now. So we went through and kept all the ones that were good, and then I organized them all. That way, whenever I need to get to them, I can easily just pull a tray out and use what I need to use. I can actually see what's in there, when before I was dumping it out on the floor to try to see what all was in there, sort through it. So yeah, now I actually have an idea of everything I have and will easily be able to get to it, which is very exciting. So as you can see under the table, let's just not talk about it, guys. I have so much paint stuff. All right, so this bag over here on the side, this is my work bag. So it is my travel bag for my job, and it has all of my paints and materials and things specific to my work. So I try to keep that separate from everything. However, I do also do fluid art with some of the places that I go to. So I have two separate things that I have to pack for that. So I have to clean the bag out and replace it with the other stuff depending on which job I'm doing. So this big basket you see down here, this is what all my florals were in. So now that I don't need that, I'm gonna clean it up and I'm gonna paint it and I'm gonna flip it. But for now, it is holding my secondary travel bag for the fluid art that I need, as well as the tub of paint for that. You can see I have all of these canvases here just waiting to be decorated and painted on and be loved. But for now, they're just gonna hang out. And then this big old box that I have down here is all of the extra paint and supplies specific to my actual work. I like to keep that completely separate, one, for tax reasons and things, but also so I don't have to stress out about what I have, what I need, where is it. It's all separate. I don't have to worry about it. And then you can see my really cool haunted house that I made last Halloween, and my cute little skeleton scarecrow. They're just kind of hanging out because they don't have a place. Like I said, I have more stuff than I have room, but oh my gosh, am I so thankful to have this and have the opportunity to have my own space. I just really feel like it's going to make my crafting that much more efficient. It's going to make my videos better for you guys so I can give you better content. And it's going to save us all the headache of me having my crafts in every single room of the house, trying to find a place for them because they don't have a home. So yeah, I want to take this time to give my boyfriend the biggest shout out because he's the one that made this possible for me. He is the one that rearranged his entire house to give me a space where I can call it my own and do the things that I need to do and be able to fuel my passion and provide, you know, my love for art, give me an outlet, give you guys this content. And yeah, I'm just so thankful to finally have an opportunity. I've never had a craft room, let alone a studio built in with it. So I'm very happy and grateful and thankful for everything that he does for me and for my daughter and all of the rearranging and work that he put into getting this done. Yeah, I'm just so thankful. He put off his own projects in his own room and space that he's making for himself to make this happen for me. So I just hope he knows how grateful I am. I hope you guys know how grateful I am that you support me and you keep coming back. If you haven't subscribed and want to see what I have coming up and keep on top of what I have going on, please, please, please subscribe. If you like my new craft room and area, please hit the like button. I love you guys so much, and be on the lookout for my next videos. I'll see you next time.